It's interesting. Every time I hear the phrase new investment products, new investment ideas, a little alarm lights up in my head, and I wonder, is that really the question we should be asking? Maybe what we really should be seeking are the old ideas, the tried and true ideas that have created wealth for families for generations. I'm not against new ideas, obviously. ETFs, for instance, were new at one time, but there was no downside to sitting back and waiting until they matured, until they developed, until they evolved. Some fell by the wayside, the others are thriving. I know it's said that the early bird catches the worm, but what we always forget is that the early worm gets eaten. So, a way of putting it maybe is that it's the second mouse who gets the cheese. And when it comes to new products or new ideas, I'm real happy for me and my clients to be the second mouse. Yeah, I don't know that the times that we're in, or any times, really should dictate changes in asset allocation. Again, I think it should rise above the short-term environmental, society, financial issues. I think that the time that matters is the times in people's lives, where they are in their own particular lifestyle, and that should dictate the asset allocation, their own risk tolerance, which will change over time, and it's important for us as advisors to be mindful of that and be aware of it and really track that for people. But the short-term stuff, I think we need to rise above that, let the trends ebb and flow, and through prudent rebalancing, add value because of those changes without adding any significant risk. I think ETFs clearly have grown in their utilization among all advisors, and they've grown in my practice, and they'll continue to grow. It's a sensible product. It's a smart way to track and maintain and hold down costs. There's an old adage, however, that we hear all the time about active management, and that so few managers actually exceed their index. And that's completely true, but probably irrelevant. We're not investing in all mutual funds. We have our own process and try to select those few funds that have a high probability of outperforming the index. So the key is to find that right balance: mutual funds, active management, and passive ETFs. The biggest challenge for me right now, and I think for the foreseeable future, is to clearly and plainly explain to people the difference between fiduciary advice, the role of a registered investment advisor, and other types of delivery systems for financial advice, financial products. They're very different models, and I think having different models is fine. I just think the public needs to be aware of that. People can and should be able to pay or not pay whatever they want for financial service, but I think they need to know what those charges are, what the costs are. There should be no hidden fees. It needs to be clarified. And right now we're fighting the regulators. The regulators, instead of clarifying things, I think are muddying the waters. Harmonization is impossible to begin with, and really ridiculous. There's no reason for that. There are different models, and the public should be able to choose what model suits them best. The invisible hand, as always, will always work in this market as in any other.